Just want to let you know that the meeting is live on YouTube at this time and the website. Okay, thank you.
Hi,
Hello.
this is Julie. I just wanted to be a little bit earlier.
Hi.
Yes, yes. You know, I'm early only because I have to ask these questions. Lavanya, I'll see you in a little while. Bye bye.
Okay, take care.
Okay, bye bye. My mom.
Hello? Hello? Julie? Do you hear me?
I hear you, Miss Dreddy.
I can hear you. I was muted. My
Oh,
how's that one?
fine.
I just got home like 10 minutes ago.
I know. I know.
Leave a mess because I can't talk. I'm telling you, okay. Lock that patio. Okay. Hi, Regina.
Hi, Mr. Eden. How are you?
Fine.
Good, that's good.
Ask a question. Hello?
Hello.
Yes. When we go into our executive session, and I was looking at you gotta hang up the phone. When I looked at what he said, executive session, how to get into it,
Yes, you
and
do.
I don't on WebEx. I see a password 3046, but then a PWD. Is that the
Live stream. You want to call me?
like?
You were live stream, I believe, right now, so anyone else can hear. Am I correct?
Correct.
So
Okay,
if you want to call me on my cell, I can go on my cell.
okay, because that's what I'm on myself.
Oh, you're on your cell. Well, I'll call you back and let you. We're on
Okay,
because you do have to go back out so that it'll be private exec session, so other people will not be able to get on. I just wanted to let you know. Okay,
all
they
right.
said you can call or you can dial in and then you get an ID number and password. That's it. Or you can go in on your electronic devices, your iPad, tablet, computer, or laptop.
I'm on my phone.
Okay, good enough. So I'm going on mute right now.
I am also.
Is that Regina?
Hi, Miss Pitts.
Hi, Regina. How are you?
Good. I have a slight correction if we can go over that real quick before.
Sure.
I apologize. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah, very well.
On page 21, item number 7.
Okay, hold on. Page 21, item number 7. Can you see me, Regina?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
Can you see
okay.
me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Page 20, item number 7, the speech and language services.
Yes. So if you look at the A, approve the award it says approve the award for occupational therapy and/or that should actually say speech and language services because it's under speech and language.
Oh,
We copied and pasted. They are looking to keep the same company. It's just
yeah.
the way that it's
Should say speech and language. Okay. Because it's under speech and language. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So.
Okay. Okay, Regina, who's the host tonight?
It is Mike Aponte.
Okay.
So he is handling it. I think I can. He's muted right now. I don't know if you want to try to get a hold of.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm just looking here now. I see Miss McClendon. I see Mr. Shaw.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miss McClendon.
Ms. Pitts, just to let you know, I did talk to Mr. Aponte earlier about what we
Good.
discussed,
Okay.
but I know he was supposed to get back to me, and I don't know where we're at with it, but we did have, and he said it was possible, so.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right.
This is Lavanya Mitchell. I'm owner.
But there's more people on it. If you go to your participants, Ms. Dredden is on it. Mr. Davis. McClinnis is on it, and Mr. Shaw, and Ms.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see Mr. Davis, I see Mr. Shaw.
Hello.
Dredden.
Okay.
Hello, Ms. Dredden, hi, okay. All right, I see the participants. We have 10, is that correct?
1, 2, 3.
I'm showing 10.
Mr. Long is here.
Oh, Mr. Long. Good evening, Mr. Long.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Long.
Okay, so I'm just saying what's on my screen. Now I see Julie. Nice big picture of Julie.
They go back out.
Let's see, we only have 6 minutes. Now I see Dredden. Hello, now I see Miss Dredden, okay.
Okay.
So and then this is being done by Aponte. He's the one who's doing this?
Yes, hi, Ms. Pitts, assisting with the meeting.
Oh, okay. So Mike, when I get a visual on various people, that's because you're doing that?
That's because whenever the audio is detected from that person, you're going to see that person on the screen.
Okay, so whenever the person is speaking, you're going to see them.
Yes.
Okay. 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 So, Mike,
Yes.
Ponte, can everyone hear me because I'm, yeah, okay. 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 Okay, now I see Julie.
Mike, were we able to set that up for the interviews?
Yes, they're in the lobby at this time.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, Mike, so in 4 minutes, I'm going to start the meeting.
Okay, there are a few folks, looks like they may be having trouble. Mr. Long, I believe, and I'm going to reach out to those folks to make sure they can get connected.
Okay.
Mr. Long is
Okay.
connected by
I heard
telephone.
Mr. Long.
Okay.
I did hear him.
I'm also on my, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
So, Mike,
Yes.
question. So you said that the 3 applicants are where now?
They're let's see. They're in what's called the lobby area. So when you call the first candidate, I would allow them to join the meeting. I would bring them into the meeting.
Okay. Okay, Mike, so I'm going to, okay, 3 minutes, I'm going to open the meeting. And it's going to be open and the public is going to be whoever has dialed in,
Yes, that's correct.
right? And also, you're saying that the 3 applicants are in the lobby. Will they also be dialed in?
So once you're ready for the applicants, I could bring them into the meeting.
Okay, well, actually, I'll be opening up the meeting. And you can bring them in to open up the meeting.
Okay. So
Because what I have to say as we go through the proceedings will be said, all 3 of them can hear it. But Mike, when we begin to go into the questions, then you can put 2 back into the lobby.
okay. Yes, you got it.
All right. Okay, board members, 2 minutes and counting. Mr. Blake here? LB.
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening, Mr. Blake.
Good evening.
Is Miss Martin here? Miss Martin joined us?
I am. Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay. Miss Martin.
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm fine. Okay. Administration here, Dr. Poteet? Dr. Poteet?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 1 minute and counting.
Are we leaving our cameras on or off?
Larry, the cameras on or off?
It's to your discretion, to the board member discretion if they want on.
Okay. Here we go. Everyone ready?
Ready?
Okay.
Ready?
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do this. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to your friendly neighborhood school board meeting. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, 2020. This is our regular education board meeting. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates. A notice dated January 3rd, 2020 and May 19th, 2020. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, municipal building, the library, the Bud Dubel Center, Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township Post Office. So before I go further, the mission statement, I'm just thanking everyone for their patience as we communicate this very different kind of platform. And I'm purposely speaking slowly because I know that the speech, the listening, the hearing is delayed. So if anyone has any problems hearing me, please let me know. This is our mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages our students to strive for personal excellence, and assists them in acquiring the knowledge and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake? Ms. Dredden? Ms. Martin?
Present.
Present.
Ms. Mitchell?
Present.
Mr. Shaw,
Present.
Peterson, Ms. Pitts.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we simply take a minute and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. McClendon, I'm going to ask you to read our 2019-2020 district goals, please.
Yes, Madam President. 2019 to 2020. 1. Student achievement. Continue implementation of the academic to address A. Articulation at all grade levels throughout the district. Focus on classroom instruction at all grade levels. C. Student proficiency rates throughout district. D. Evaluation and updating all district programs. E. Accountability of all district staff. Number 2, continue to foster a positive school environment that is conducive to teaching and learning.
The staff supporting the school district more than ever because they supported my students and myself.
Thank you. What personal qualities do you possess that you feel will make you an effective school board member?
My personal qualities are that I currently work with children and work in different school districts. So I do have a lot of different ways that I do connect with kids and things that they may need that may help them educational wise, social wise. So I do have a lot of experience working with young people in different areas, in different school districts.
This is a little bit long, so I may have to repeat it twice. Are you aware of the extensive time requirement of a school board member, and what life or work experience do you have that would make you a good school board member? Repeat it.
Okay.
Are you aware of the extensive time requirements of a school board member, and what life or work experiences do you have that would make you a good school board member?
So I am aware of the time that it takes. I did some research on the time that it takes. I do know that it takes a lot of time and effort to be on the school board. I am involved in some other committees that require similar amounts of time, and I've been involved in organizations that require the same amount of time to do research, take data, and also have meetings and come together on different topics. So I am aware, and I've had a few experiences so far.
Thank you. And our final question: how many school board meetings have you attended over the past 2 last years? I'll repeat it again. How many school board meetings have you attended over the past 2 years?
Roughly, I'll say about 6. I was more involved in this past school year than the prior school year and going to school board meetings.
Questions of us?
No, thank you. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you once again for coming out tonight. We appreciate your time and commitment that you have expressed today in attending this meeting. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Okay, Ms. Pitts, the candidate has disconnected. Should we bring in the next candidate?
Yes, please.
Good evening, Ms. Zuli. How are you?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm wonderful. We want to thank you for spending some time with us tonight. We have a few questions. You will notice some of us might be taking notes. And I say especially myself, because I am a seasoned, and I say it in a nice way, a seasoned, so I need to remember all the good things that you will be saying, sharing with us tonight. So please do not get distracted by my note taking. So thank you once again for coming. We just have a few questions, and we want you to relax and be comfortable. Ready for the first question?
I'm ready.
Our first question, why do you want to be a school board member?
Great question. I want to be a school board member because I really believe in our district, and particularly in our school district, right? I know the good that comes from it, both academically and also community-wise. And I really want to make sure that we continue that movement forward. I've seen great movement in the last, I'd say 5, 6, 7 years. And really my commitment to that has been steeped in sort of volunteerism at a different level. And I'm ready to take that now to a higher level and commit to being part of those solutions that we need moving forward.
Thank you. What personal qualities do you possess that you feel will make you an effective school board member?
Sure. So I think one of the things that most of you know me as is a parent. However, I wouldn't say that that's the thing that really qualifies me for a position like this, right? That's just a component of who I am and maybe led me to knowing more about the schools in general. But I would say that the qualities that I would bring to the table that are unique are this. One, and they're really more work related, right? They're more my experience related. And that is, for 7 years, I was a college administrator at St. Joseph's University. I led student leadership and development programs there for their entire student body. And I really loved working on that with student development, leadership initiatives within a population of 3,000 students, pretty strong. But I also managed new capital projects there and really got to see those things through to completion and help make decisions that really shaped what that university was going to be in my tenure there. A few other things, I think I've been a Girl Scout leader, and you might wonder what that has to do. I think that's taught me flexibility, particularly in volunteerism. How to manage my time between volunteering in a really sort of committed way. I was a leader for 7 years and watched those students grow from brownies, which is kindergarten level, all the way up now to 8th grade, where, they start to lose a little interest in that area. And then lastly, I'd say more my current experience, which has really been around marketing. I've spent the last 15 years of my career within the marketing areas, but really the last 5 years as an executive with our company. So managing a group that is actually national, remote, and we oversee 800 clients. So I've really learned through that how to manage staff, budget, had to write policy for a company, and really learn how to translate that. But most recently, working in live events, and I think something that could be really relevant here is that I've really been working with venues on their COVID re-entry programs. What does that look like? How do you open a building with social distancing? How do you put practices and policies in place, and how do you write those policies in order for consumers and others to understand them and come in your door? And I think those things could really translate well as we will all have to figure out our pathway forward based on state regulations and school board regulations and other things. So I think some of that experience could really qualify me as well for a piece of that role.
Our third question, and I may have to repeat it because it's a little bit long. Are you aware of the extensive time requirements of school board members? And what life or work experiences do you have that would make you a good school board member?
So I think I answered part of that second question previously, right? But for the time commitment piece, yes, I think I'm walking into this with eyes wide open. My experience is that it's going to vary at different times of year, right? There's the end of the school year obviously has more school activities. And if you happen to be the representative with that school, you may be spending more time there. But the commitments really are more extensive than that in terms of making sure that you're aware of what the policies are, making sure that you're getting educated, with the New Jersey School Board Association and taking classes so that you can be an effective member. And then also carrying out all the duties that you're required to do as a board member, look through your minutes. So I think, yes, I think that I have a pretty realistic view of what the time commitment will be. And to balance that, as I stated before, my Girl Scouts have pretty much moved on, and that chapter of my life will be moving on. So there's some free space in my world to be able to take on more. So really, if that were to happen, I could just shift one responsibility that I was used to with another one and fill that time void.
Thank you. And our final question. How many school board meetings have you attended over the past 2 years?
That's a great question. I should have counted them. I would say likely at least 60%. There were likely some times where, a home commitment or a, other school activity or something came up where I wasn't there. But I really tried to be there in person. And if I can't be there in person, then I've always checked online minutes and gone through what's happened at the meetings and stayed really involved, because I think even as just a parental role, it's really important to understand what's happening in your district, and to see, what has occurred throughout those meetings.
Thank you. As we conclude, once again, I want to thank you for coming tonight. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't. I think I would, just like to say that I think that my qualifications could really bring a unique set of skills to the board. And I'd be very excited and open to the opportunity of learning from all of you as well, realizing that everybody comes in as the new person and has a lot of learning and growth to do as they learn how to be a successful board member that can contribute. And just thank you for your time tonight.
And have a great evening and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well.
Ms. Pitts, the next candidate is on the call.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ponting.
I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your first name right. Mrs. Satira Tool?
Yes, Sateria.
Good evening. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. We want to thank you for coming in and spending some time with us tonight. We appreciate that. And we only have a few questions to ask. So we want you to be relaxed, and we will be taking notes, especially myself as a seasoned person, so I can remember all the great things that you're going to be sharing with us. So relax. It's only a few questions, and we appreciate your time. Our first question: will you want to be a school board member?
I'd like to be a school board member because I would like to have an influence in my community. I've been in this community for over 20 years, myself and my husband and my 5 children. And I love Winslow, and I still believe that that the school district is going into a different era with this pandemic, and I believe that I can make a difference and to address the needs of the community.
Thank you. Our second question, what personal qualities do you possess that you feel will make you an effective school board member?
First, I'm a mom, and again, I have raised my children in this school district, and I know the kind of education that my children have received here in this district. And secondly, I'm a preschool teacher, which helps me to value education even more, because I believe that it starts when they're very young, to be able to grasp and have a respect and a love for education. And as they grow up, they'll become, well-rounded students that value their education and, do all that they can to be good students in school.
Thank you very much. Question number 3, and I may have to repeat it twice. Are you aware of the extensive time requirements of a school board member, and what life or work experiences do you have that would make you a good school board member?
Yes, I do consider the amount of time that's needed. When I first thought about being a school board member, it was when my kids were younger. So I knew at that time that I did not have time to be able to put in to be a school board member and be able to run my household and go to work. So now that my children are older, I have 2 that are still in the high school, and I know my time is going to be freer. I would like to, embark upon this journey. Again, as a mom in this community, I understand the needs of the community. From the last board, the live stream board meeting, parents were making comments about having more communication between the schools and the home as far as student with the remote learning. I'm going through that right now, and just hearing the hearts of those parents and other people in the community that are, voicing concerns. And again, as a preschool teacher, I know just the value of how important it is to help children to understand the value of an education, and how the younger they are and the sooner that you can get them to understand and have a love for learning, the better off that they'll be as they grow up.
Thank you. And our final question, how many school board meetings have you attended over the last 2 years?
I've 4.
Excuse me?
4.
4? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I want to thank you once again for coming and spending some time with us. Do you have any questions for us?
Not at this time.
Thank you, and be safe. We appreciate the time that you spent with us today. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Mr. Aponte. Mr. Aponte?
Yes, Ms. Pitts.
At this time, I'm going to ask the board to go into executive session.
Okay.
And so after we go into executive session, will we you will guide us. We will then be at a point where we will be in a confidential setting? Or do I have, okay? Do I have to come out and then come back in?
Yeah, so everyone will disconnect from this meeting. They will press the button to leave the meeting,
Right,
and they will connect to the executive session meeting that was set up.
okay,
Once the executive session is concluded, they could rejoin the meeting with the links provided in the email.
okay, thank you. Therefore, at this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to adjourn into executive session.
Move McClendon.
Moved by Ms. McClendon,
Second, Dredden.
second by Ms. Dredden. All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone is in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You are now
Pitts,
going
point of
to,
Mr. Pitts, point of order, Mr. Long.
yes, Mr. Long.
What closed session contact information? I'm not sure that I'm to speed on that.
We're going to go now at this point and make the decision as to,
No, I mean, how do I get there? It's more of a Mr. Aponte question.
okay. Mr. Aponte, did you hear Mr. Long?
Yes, I will send the information right now to Mr. Long.
Okay,
Okay, got that confused with this portion of it, but I did find this portion, not the other. But thank you, Mr. Aponte.
You're welcome.
okay, thank you.
Be on the other side.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Ms. Martin.
Mike, did you send a link for the exec?
Yes, I'll resend it to make sure you have it.
Hi, Mr. Fonte. Did you, I think I got it.
Okay, perfect. Yes, if you scroll down to the bottom, the information will be there.
Okay.
and nominate whoever you want. The practical question is, you know what, by the way, embarrassing. The voting process.
Hello? We're back in public session.
Yeah.
Julia, I see Julie, you're with us. I see Rita, you're with us.
They're coming.
Mrs. Pitts, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Ms. Dredden.
Okay.
Okay, who's hosting it? Is it Mr. Scott or is it Mr. Aponte?
We're both on the call.
Okay, good. So you let me know when all of us have joined?
Yes.
Mrs. Pitts?
Is this Dr. Poteet?
Yes, I'm in the meeting, but I just want you to know that I was catching bits and pieces of the meeting because I'm having some problems with my computer. But I am in the meeting now, but I'm on my phone.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Poteet.
All right. Yeah, Doc, I was reaching out to you just to try to patch you in through my phone, so at least you could participate. Okay, Yes, I'm good now. call, trying to accommodate.
All right, thanks.
Sure.
I see you, Mr. Blake. Very good. I see you. Oh,
Ms. Pitts, this is Gina Chico.
yes, Gina.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm now in with Mike Aponte and I'm not on my own computer. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm here, but I'm not on my own computer.
Okay, you're here but you're here by phone.
No, I'm in with Mike.
You're in with Mike. Okay. So but you will be able to hear us?
Yes, I hear you right now. Hopefully as you hear me right now.
Okay, as we proceed with the meeting.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Board members who are here, as soon as all board members have joined us, I'm going to ask for a motion to come out of executive session. Return to our public session.
I believe we're all here.
Are we all here?
McClendon here.
Okay. Mr. Blake, are you here? Mr. Blake?
He was there.
Yeah, he was. Mr. Dredden, are you here? Ms. Martin, have you joined us?
Yes, I'm here.
Ms. McClendon, I know you're here. Mrs. Mitchell?
I'll grab Miss Dredden again.
I'm here. Miss Dredden has her mute on. She needs to take her mute off, and so does Mr. Blake.
Okay, Miss Dredden, there. Okay. Is there anybody we're missing? I'll be glad to try and patch him in.
Okay, board members, can you hear me?
Yes.
Board members, I'm going to ask, please, do not put your mute on at all this evening. It's making it very difficult. Okay, Ms. Mitchell, you're here.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw, you've joined us?
Yes.
I know Ms. Peterson is here. Mr. Blake, have you joined us? Here.
Yes.
Mr. Blake is on mute.
Yes.
Okay. Is Mr. Blake still on mute?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Mr. Blake has said has left the meeting. He said he was having problems.
Can Mr. Long, can you call Mr. Blake?
I just did, Mrs. Pitts, and it went to his voicemail. I can try again. 'Cause I can clearly patch him in like I did with Miss Dredden and the exec. So let me try
Okay.
one more time.
Okay.
Just tried reaching him. It went into his voicemail.
I will text him and see.
Thank you, Ms. McClendon.
I found Mr. Blake wandering the hallway. He's now in. I'm here.
Mr. Blake, Mr. Blake, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Mr. Blake, please, please do not put your phone on mute.
Okay.
Because you're gumming up the works. Okay. All right, at this time, board members, Mr. Aponte or Mr. Scott, are you with us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Aponte, Mr. Scott, are we in public open session now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. At this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to come out of executive session.
Peterson moved.
McClendon second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. McClendon. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, board members. We're back on our agenda, and I'm on page 2. At this time, asking for a nomination to appoint a member to fill our vacancy.
Peterson would like to make that motion.
And who would you like to nominate?
I move that we appoint Kelly Thomas for the board vacancy.
Lorraine Dredden seconded.
Thank you. Board members, it has been moved in second that we appoint Thomas to fill the current void vacancy. Can I get roll call, please?
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Miss Dredden,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Miss McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Miss Peterson,
Yes.
Miss Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. It is unanimous that our current board vacancy will be filled by Miss Kelly Thomas, and Miss Chico will take the necessary steps to contact her and also to contact the other two candidates and thank them for their time. Board members, at this time, I'm back on our board agenda, and we are at the awards and presentations. Dr. Potteet?
There are no awards and presentations this evening, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Potteet. Correspondence.
And at this time, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes of our previous board meeting that took place on May 13th, 2020, open session.
Peterson moved for approval of board minutes of May 13th.
Dredden second.
Moved in second to approve the minutes. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Linden? Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Board members, now I'm moving to our board committee reports. Would there be a committee report out of our education committee?
Yes, Madam President. I believe all of the members of the board have received the minutes. Our meeting was called to order at 3:02 p.m. Monday, May 18th. In attendance were committee members Rita Martin, Lavanya Mitchell, and Julie Peterson, board member Abina McClendon, and administrative liaison, Dr. Dorothy Quaccamo. Old business discussion items. A, Genesis portal update, November 1st through May 2020. Number of parents with access to portal, number of times parents have access to portal. I'm just going to go briefly through this. School 1, enrollment is 344. Number of enabled accounts is 180. Number of enabled accounts with activity, login attempts from 11/1/19 to 3/16/20 is 100. Number of enabled accounts with account activity on that began on 3/17 with distance learning is 101. School 2, 358. Number of enabled accounts, 208. Enabled accounts from November 1/19 to 3/16, 133. And starting with distance learning on 3/17 was 89. School 3, 474 enrolled, 142 enabled accounts, 67 attempts between November 1 and 3/16. Long distance on 3/17, 93. School 4 enrollment, 540. Number of enabled accounts, 281. Number of enabled accounts with activity from 11/1/19 to 3/16 is 190. Number of enabled accounts with activity with distance learning is 145. School 5 enrollment, 620. Number of enabled accounts, 516. Number of enabled accounts with activity from 11/1/19 to 3/16 is 252. Number of enabled accounts with attempts with long distance beginning on 3/17 is 296. School 6, enrollment 501. Number of enabled accounts, 314. Number of enabled accounts between 11/1/19 to 3/16 is 181. And number of enabled accounts with activity beginning with distance learning on 3/17 was 183. Middle school enrollment, 779. Number of enabled accounts was 987. Number of enabled accounts and activity between 11/1/19 to 3/16 was 516. And number of enabled accounts with account activity beginning with distance learning on 3/17 was 425. High school, 1,130 enrollment, Number of enabled accounts, 1,560. Number of enabled accounts with activity between 11/1/19 and 3/16 was 928. Number of enabled accounts with activity since distance learning began on 3/17 is 683. Letter C, number of issued Chromebooks. Findings on survey says that we had 500. There were in the high school 300 with 947 supplemental packets. Middle school 30 Chromebooks, 125 work packets, and for school 5 and 6, 200, and lower elementary all packets. Comcast free or reduced rate of $9.99 per month based on your application. D, Comcast will continue with internet service until the close of our school year. Failure list questions. This data received at our April 29th board meeting represents a 1, 2, and 3 marking periods remain consistent with previous year's data that reflects absenteeism in danger of failing one or more required subjects, and C, includes students with IEPs. 2, there has been building level outreach implemented along with associate documentation that will support outreach efforts. New business discussion items. A, 8th grade and high school graduation. District has a plan for celebrating both in the new normal that is in adherence with the state of New Jersey's documentation. B, COVID-19 impact on district planning. Committee will read the 2 articles that Ms. McClendon and Ms. Peterson sent for the next committee meeting. We adjourned at 4:09.
Thank you.
Please.
Certainly. Yes.
See, 33 Chromebooks distributed at the high school, at the middle school, 33. Yes, okay, it was said 30 was read.
I'm sorry, 33.
Okay, thank you.
Other corrections.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Martin. Thank you very much. Would there be a committee report out of our operations committee at this time?
Not at this time, Madam President, but we will have our meeting next month on the 2nd.
Thank you. With regards to our policy committee, I can say that the policy committee did meet in district on Tuesday, the 26th. Present for that policy committee was Dr. Carcamo, Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Davis, Director of Human Resources, and board members, Ms. Dredden, Ms. McClendon, and Ms. Martin, and myself. And board members, you will note that the policies that were discussed at that meeting appear in your addendum for first reading. So I would ask that you would just take your time and read through them so that at our next meeting, which will be our second reading, you would be prepared to ask questions and be prepared to vote. Would there be any other committee meetings, reports? I am going to call for the Citizens Advisory Committee report, but board members, would there be any other committee reports at this time? Okay, hearing none. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Martin, I believe you do have a report to give us from the Citizen Advisory Committee.
Yes, that is correct, Madam President. Good evening, board members. Good morning, good evening, public. In reference to the CAC committee meeting,
that was some background.
Okay, I'm sorry. We had our meeting on last Friday evening, and what we ended up coming up with is some suggestions in reference to our survey. Some of those suggestions to move forward was that we would like the surveys to be put on the website. And the websites that we're requesting is the main website as well as all of the individual school websites. And if you cannot get onto the computer to get the website, we are asking that they be able to call and request a copy to be mailed to them. We ask that it be done in Spanish, and we would ask that a robocall be sent out to let parents know that the survey is available. In addition to that, was a conversation brought up about preparing video tutorials. And I just need you to know, board members, I believe you might have gotten that with the survey. We have about 10 tutorials that were found and pulled together. Our conversation is at this point, how can we get those to the parents? And we're asking if they can be listed under the parent portal with COVID-19 resources. It was also suggested that we place the survey information or link on the school's Facebook page. And one other item for your consideration as we move forward is using one platform for all of our schools. And I believe, and there was a slight revision which you received tonight on the survey, and I think there were just 2 pieces that were added to that. Madam President?
Okay, that concludes your Citizen Advisory Committee report, Ms. Martin?
Indeed, it does. Are there any questions or comments?
Board members, any questions or comments? Board members?
No.
Yes. If you can recall, at our last meeting, the Citizen Advisory Committee did present the idea of a survey to us. And if indeed, as a board, we're going to go forward and conduct this survey, because certainly there are some questions and still certainly administration will have to be a part of this. But what we need to do now, board members, is to vote as to whether or not we're going to go forward with this survey. So is there a motion to go forward with the Citizens Advisory Committee survey?
Miss
Dredden.
Moved by Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Is there a second? And second by Ms. Dredden. Board members, any further questions? Hearing none. Chico, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson, Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
So board members, we have agreed that we will go forward with the survey. And looking at the survey, certainly there are questions that need to be answered. So what I'm going to do, again, along with the Citizen Advisory Committee, I'm going to ask Ms. Peterson and also Dr. Carcamo to be a part of that planning committee so that we can devise the way in which we're going to release this or make this available. Ms. Martin, I do have just a few questions now that we've approved this survey going forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, exactly, is there a timeline that the Citizens Advisory Committee has suggested for this survey? That is, when are they looking forward to presenting this to the public? How soon or how late?
Okay, that was a question that we had to discuss because it is predetermined by how fast that information can be put on the website. We did not know exactly what the steps were to go through that. So once we go through that step and we can get it on the website, that's fine. I mean, I know that it takes time. I just am not aware of how much time.
Okay, that's fine, Ms. Martin. So you do know that Ms. Peterson, along with Dr. Carcamo, will be a part of that planning committee, and you can move forward with it. Dr. Poteet.
The Wi-Fi is not working.
Dr. Poteet?
Yes, Mrs. Pitts?
Dr. Boutique, would you have any questions at this time for Ms. Martin?
Well, at this point, I think since the board has approved moving forward with the survey, the administration, of course, would like to assist in any possible way. You've appointed Dr. Carcamo, and of course, I will be working with her, but she'll be that point person. We have some ideas that we think will be effective, and I think the district can put together a survey ourselves and place on the website with the assistance, of course, of Mrs. Martin and Mrs. Peterson. I think we have a plan that will move it forward. The only question I have at this point is, in looking at the questions, particularly the information that was submitted tonight as a revision, I think if the opportunity presents itself for the administration to work with the CAC in revising some of those questions so that they benefit the entire district, and some of those questions we don't see where there's any value where we can provide any assistance. But I think I will let the committee have that discussion, but I just felt the need to take another look at the questions, maybe have an idea with some discussion, Mrs. Martin, to maybe revise some of the questions so we also can make sure that the district is in fact getting enough information to help us move forward in the same manner in which the CAC has designed this survey. Is that something that we can work through, Mrs. Martin?
Yes, Dr. Pete, we can do that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And that's it, Mrs. Madam President. I think at this point, I'll have further discussion with Dr. Carcamo, and she will be able to present some of the ideas and suggestions from the administration so we can be as efficient as possible. The only issue right now will be the timeline, because you know it's the end of the school year. There are a lot of things going on at the end of the school year, and we are also in the process of preparing for next year. So I think we need to really get that timeline nailed down so we can get it out and get that information back. But I think that's something that can be worked out with the committee.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Martin, board members, at this time, we're moving on. Public comment. Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We also believe in the rights of citizens to observe our board meetings. Citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that speakers follow these guidelines when making public comments. The board president or board secretary will recognize those individuals in the audience who wish to make comment. Please respect these following procedures. All members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. Number 2, please state your full name and address. Number 3, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. Number 4, kindly submit your questions to the Board of Education with your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable amount of time. And number 5, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifier, or member of the public. At this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to open the meeting to public comments.
Then move.
Dredden second.
Moved and second by Ms. Peterson and then Ms. Dredden. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Chico, have anyone who has signed up for the comment?
Madam President, people have signed up and we're waiting for the first call to come through.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the public comments section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address.
Everyone, my name is Lisa Schrader, and I reside at 117 Baker Avenue in Acton.
You can comment.
According to a recent article that I had recently read posted on NewJersey.com, the New Jersey State Department of Education received $310 million in federal K-12 aid through the CARES Act. It was noted that the Winslow Township School District was awarded $166,768 in federal elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds. My question to the board is, how will these newly obtained funds be used within our district?
Because he wants to be alone.
Okay, now, what was her direct question to the board, please?
Can you restate your question?
My direct question was, how will these obtained funds be used within our district?
Okay. Dr. Poteet?
Yes, ma'am. I can address that. First, I know the question is in reference to the CARES Act, and there are monies that are allocated for each school district, but there are several steps that have to be taken first because we don't have the money. The money is not here. The school district must apply for that money, and we are in the process through our business administrator, Mrs. Boyle, to apply for that money. Once those monies are received, then those monies can be applied to use in any way that the district deems necessary to address any of the issues that we are presently having as it pertains to the COVID-19 issues in terms of helping families and students, or as well as the school district. So at this point, we have not earmarked specifically how those monies are going to be spent because they're not here in district, but we have to wait until we apply and receive those monies. And of course, at that time, we will have to present it to the board, and then we will be planning. And I think working with the board and the community, we can look at where our issues are and then earmark those monies accordingly. So at this point, that has not been done, but it has to be monies used to address whatever issues we have found as it relates to the school closure as a result of the health-related issues that we're presently in.
Does the district happen to have any timeline as to when we could be able to respond to our application?
We are in the process of filling out that application as we speak. Once that application is received by the state and approved, then they will issue those monies. But right now, we are in the process of going through the application, filling out that application right now.
Okay. Okay, then. Thank you.
This is ridiculous.
I agree, Ms. Dredden, but this is what we have to do. Ms. Chico, is there another person who has signed up?
Yes, there is, Madam President. We're waiting for it to come through.
Okay.
Good evening. Welcome to the public comments section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address.
Allison Kobe, 51 Winding Brook Drive, Acton, New Jersey.
Okay, you can go proceed.
Hello, is she still there?
Oh.
Hello.
Sorry, what?
You can proceed with your comment.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So first, I would like to thank you all, the Board of Education, for allowing me and everyone to speak today and for how you all reacted to the coronavirus by keeping everyone's safety in mind. On May 26th, Governor Phil Murphy issued a statement allowing graduations to happen starting July 6th. We are completely aware of how planning such a ceremony may require much effort, but it would mean the world to the class of 2020 to have a graduation ceremony. For some of us, this may be our only graduation. Even if some of us are going to college, the graduations might not mean as much. These are the people that we have grown up with for 12 plus years. We have had Winslow Pride for so long, and we would love to experience that one more time before we go off to our separate paths. We would all appreciate it to no end if we could have a ceremony. Once again, I am asking you if you could please allow us to have a graduation.
Thank you. Dr. Poteet, could you answer that, please?
Yes, I will try, and I know as a result of the announcement by the governor, and I want to say that very, very untimely, because there have been weeks of planning that has already taken place by Mr. Morella, his administrative team, and the HSA at the high school. And they've been working very hard to put this virtual graduation together, which will include the students, their parents, providing face-to-face diploma, distribution, pictures, etc. And to think that we are going to just dismantle all that they've done and the thousands of dollars that have been spent putting this together, it just seems like it's just unconscionable that we would just toss it aside. At this point, Madam President, members of the board, I am recommending that we continue to move forward with the virtual graduation for a lot of reasons. And secondly, in as much as the governor has given that okay, he still has not provided us with the necessary health guidelines for that to happen. And of course, we're talking about after July 6th. And I don't want to make this an issue of health, but it's my responsibility to make sure that the students and the families of this community are safe in anything that we do. So, of course, what we already know about the screening of students and staff before they even come to practice. We have to test these young people every day. We have to make sure that all those precautions are taken, and we don't have any of those guidelines. And how are we going to do with the number of students we have? You're going to have 2, 3 graduations. It's just a lot of work. It's just not a matter of saying, yes, we're going to do it. The planning that takes place in any graduation is usually 3 days. But at this point, with all the work that Mr. Morella and those parents and the teachers and administrators already put into place, it is my recommendation that we go with the virtual graduation. I think it is more inclusive than the young people and families know. And at this point, I understand, but it's not a lot that we can do at this late stage. And to put these individuals in a position where we just toss everything to the side and just start all over again, I just don't think that is feasible at this point. And it's my recommendation that we continue to move forward with the virtual graduation.
Now, Dr. Poteet, I'm going to ask make a statement. Is Allison still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Allison, do you understand that the district has already created and already has in place a graduation ceremony that is inclusive of students and parents? As you heard Dr. Poteet say, and as you probably know, our graduation will take place on June 18th. So the fact that the governor has said as of July 6th, that's a bit after the fact for us, because Winslow already has in place a very nice, very wonderful graduation ceremony that we believe that the students will appreciate, and that they will be able to say that they, in spite of the conditions now, that they still had a memorable graduation. Are you clear with that, Allison?
Yes, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Chico?
Yes, we're waiting for another phone call to come through.
Okay.
Good evening. Welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Brianna Reagan, and I live at 35 Vanderbilt Court, Sicklerville, New Jersey, 08081.
You may comment now.
Once again, I'd like to thank you all for inviting me into the public comment section. My name is Brianna Reagan. I am currently the Senate President of Winslow Township High School. Before this year, I served as Senate VP, and before that year, I served as VP for the class of 2020. I would like to speak on behalf of the senior class, voicing my support for the idea of a social distancing graduation ceremony for the Winslow Township High School class of 2020. I say this because March 13th, the seniors of not only Winslow Township High School, but all over the world, didn't realize that they were leaving their high schools for the very last time. Many people have walked into their high schools not knowing how big of an achievement it is to be handed a diploma in front of your family and guardians. We have worked for 4 long and passionate years for the moment that will always be a milestone in our lives. It is very important for us to continue by proceeding with an outdoors graduation. As of May 26th, Governor Murphy has announced that effective July 6th, New Jersey schools will be able to hold outdoor graduation ceremonies that comply with social distancing. I appreciate, as well as on behalf of my senior class, the hard work that has been put into the virtual graduation, everything that has been planned for us because of the pandemic. But as someone who is called the face of Winslow, every day I hurt not being able to have the ability to wave to my parents as I hold my diploma in my hands with gratitude. I hurt not being able to walk across field. I hurt not being able to go back to my high school to live my days as a scholar and a leader. I continue to say that we appreciate all your hard work for the virtual graduation, but if you could just please be our last hope in having what we've worked so hard for longer than 4 years. Something that our parents may have not been able to have. Something that our parents have only to one child in the class of 2020 and has not been able to have the opportunity to grab that diploma, walk that field. Please give us the opportunity to move with an outdoors graduation. Thank you for your time and your patience. Once again, my name is Brianna Reagan, and I pray and hope that you see what I see on behalf of the class of 2020 in Winslow Township High School. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Brianna Reagan, are you still with us? Miss Brianna Reagan, are you still with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Brianna Reagan, here's what I need. It's important that you know that indeed your graduating class will have a ceremony. Indeed, it will be outside. Indeed, you will be handed your diploma so that you can hold it up. Your parents will be there. Indeed, you'll be able to take pictures. Now, this ceremony, which has been planned, will take place on June 18th. Now, what you're suggesting is that the district scrap all that has been planned and done for June 18th and push it back to July 6th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, that, as Dr. Poteet has said, is going to be very, very difficult. But I do believe that you will appreciate the graduation ceremony that has been planned and put in place for the Winslow Township class of 2020.
Mrs. Pitts?
Yes, Dr. Poteet.
First I want to say hello to Brianna because I know who she is. And I know she's a very conscientious student. And I would like to be able to accommodate her. But I want the board members and everyone who's listening in on this board meeting. I am not willing to take that risk. Without the guidelines that we absolutely need, I am not willing to put those young people, the board, their families, or anyone else at risk in attempting to have that, regardless of how difficult it is for me not to be able to celebrate with these young people in that manner. But I'm not willing to take that health risk, Mrs. Pitts. I'm just not willing to take that risk. There are too many things involved, and there are just too many individuals, particularly the Center for Disease Control, and the New Jersey Department of Health, and all those issues and guidelines have not been presented to tell us how we can do it exactly and give us a template. And it's just too much. And right now we know that Camden County does have a high number of number of cases. And the reason we've been able to modify that and keep those numbers down because people haven't been coming out. But once people come out, and all those individuals who've never been tested, you could be walking around with the virus and don't even know it. There's a lot of testing that would have to take place for anyone who would think they were going to participate. And it's just so risky at this point. And I don't want to be redundant, and this is my last response. There may be other callers coming in, but I just want to say at this point, I am not willing to take that risk and putting everyone at danger to accommodate this. I think Mr. Morella, his teachers, and the parents who've been working with him have done an excellent job in putting this virtual graduation together. They've done it in such a way that these young people are actively involved with their parents. And I think they've done an excellent job. And there's been a lot of hard work and, of course, a lot of money spent to do this. But I'm not willing to go beyond what we have in place and put everyone at risk, because we'll never be able to forgive ourselves. And I don't want to be that person who will be held accountable for going through this and something happens. And I don't think it's something that you'll ever be able to recover from. So at this point, and my last statement is, I'm not willing to take the health risk that we will be encountering in doing so. So that's my last word on that. And if there are more calls coming in, Mrs. Pitts, I just want the board to know that I've said all that I can say, and I can't add any more to what I've already said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Poteet. Ms. Chico, are we waiting for the next person?
Yes, we are. Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
We believe that at this time, there are no other phone calls coming in.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Ms. Chico. Therefore, board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve adjournment of our public comments portion.
Dredden, second.
It's been moved in second that we close our public comment section. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Pitts, I
Yes.
apologize. I did not hear the person who first motioned. I only heard the second.
The first person who motioned was Ms. Peterson.
Okay.
Dredden was second.
Okay.
Dredden was second.
Thank you. I apologize.
Okay, thank you. Board members, before we move to our page 3, I just want to make a brief statement, and I think that this is important that we say this to the public. I'm saying that I'd just like to send a comment out to the resident who posted on social media that while many things were said and covered during our last board meeting that was held on May 13th, 2020, that this resident noted what was not said. She noted what was not said. She said that a statement from the board recognizing Teacher Appreciation Week, which was May 4th through May 8th, was not said. So when I read that, I immediately went through my notes in an effort to prepare a reply to her comment. But I stopped. I stopped because I realized she was absolutely correct. So therefore, I would like to say, thank you, Stephanie, for the reminder. And I just want to end by saying to all our teachers, on behalf of the entire Board of Education, and with great appreciation, we thank you for all that you have done and continue to do in educating the children of our district. We know that it is not easy, especially now. But we would like to acknowledge to you our appreciation. And very quickly, in the words of Cicero, let me just leave you with this. There can be no greater employment or more valuable a service to our society than that of those who instruct our rising generations. So again, thank you with great appreciation to all of our teachers. Board members, yes?
And I can appreciate your comments in reference to our teachers. They've been doing a fantastic job. But I just want the members of the board to know that I sent a personal letter out to all of the teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week, acknowledging their service above and beyond what they would normally be asked to do on a regular day. So I just want the board to know that I did send a personal letter out to the teachers, thanking them.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Board members, at this time, I'm at the agenda. I'm on page 3. I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report that begins at the top of page 3 and continues through to the middle of page 5. Is there a motion?
Peterson move.
Dredden, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredden. Would there be further comments or questions?
Question.
Yes, Ms. McClendon?
Yes. Page 5, number 17, which is the district health-related school closure plan.
Yes.
In reading the documentation that we received, on page 2, I did have a question regarding under the demographics subgroup.
Okay.
Students with disabilities, just looking at that number that's listed there, I just wonder, is that an accurate number or is it a typo? Just wondering.
Page 2, Ms. McClendon?
2, yes, page 2, demographics subgroup. It has students with disabilities. I don't know if Dr. Poteet or Dr. Carcamo could answer that question.
Well, you're referencing the health-related school closure plan?
Yes.
You're saying it's on page 2?
Right. So page 1.
Oh.
I was thinking page 2, got flipped it over. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
Page 1, demographics subgroup.
Okay, I see it.
That number, is that an accurate number or is it a typo? I was
Yes,
just
it is.
okay.
It's an accurate number.
Okay. And my second question is, with the school closure plan, is this effective as of when?
It was effective March 16th when we first closed schools. Every district had to put a plan together and submit it to the state. They gave it back to us and asked us to upgrade it and, you know, present it to our board. But everything you have in front of you, 95% of it was already done 2 weeks ago. And that's why when certain questions were asked in the past board meeting, I would respond that we've already did those things because we were required to submit that information to the state, and this is part of it. So this was effective as of, I think, March 16th when we closed schools, and it's still in effect today. The only difference now is they asked us for some update because it now extends through the end of our academic school year, which would be June 19th.
Okay. And the reason why I asked that question, Dr. Potee, is because on page 4, I noticed now that it has stated what the actual means of usage for video conferencing. And I know at one point in time, we really didn't have one or two particular direct ones. So I noticed that in there now it says the district has now decided that Google Classroom and Google Meet will be the video platform used for video conferencing. So that's why I was asking, was all this taken effective now, or was it before? Because I know at one point in time, yeah, we didn't have anything direct.
Okay, it was always in effect.
Dr. Potee, may I respond to that? Google Classroom and Google Classroom and Google Meet, that was always the platform that teachers were instructed to use. Teachers were doing other things, but those were not, the other platforms were not sanctioned by us. It was not what we directed. So, Mrs. McClendon, I might add that the changes that we updated had to do with the accommodations spelling out the exact accommodations that we would be making for our subgroup. We plan to address graduation and updating our food service plan. So we initially had food distributions every day in 2 locations, but what we did not have in the plan was a change that we made to having food distributed 2 days a week on Mondays and Thursday, and also added in that we were making deliveries to homes for those who did not have access to transportation.
So basically, the revisions are for those things we may have changed during the course of the closure that was not necessarily in the original plan. They didn't ask us. Every time we did something, we would have to revise it and send it to them. I'm not necessarily sure, other than the fact that since this plan is going to be used for the remainder of this school year and possibly, which they hadn't told us, but possibly into the reopening of schools, that they asked us to revise and bring it before the board so that you can see it, have it approved, and then resubmit it to the state. And that's why it's before you today. But most of the information you find in front of you was there in our original plan back in March.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Potee and Dr. Carcamo. That's all the questions that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, any other questions or comments?
I do have a question. This is Mr. Blake. Looking at the health-related school closure plan, and I see under delivery of instruction, I think it's page 3 or 4 or page 2 in the packet. I see that educators can use Remind, Class Dojo, Seesaw, Google Classroom, email, phone call, text in, and district school-wide website. As far as Google Meets, I didn't see that was listed. Is that under the Google Classroom?
It is, Mr. Blake.
Okay.
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 Okay, board members, any further questions? What has been moved in second? Questions have been answered. Ms. Chico, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin, Ms. Martin,
Ms. Martin.
You're muted now, Ms. Martin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Clendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Pitts.
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you, board members. I'm now on page 6. At this time, I'm asking for a motion to subdivide the business administrator's report. Is there a motion?
Peterson.
Dredden second.
It's been moved in second that I subdivide our business administrator board secretary's report. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you, board. Board, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve items A and B of the business administrator's report. It begins on page 6 and follows through to page 18. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
Dredden motion. Dredden second.
It's been moved by Ms. Peterson and second by Ms. Dredden that we items A and B, 6 at page 18. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell, Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson, Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, board members. I'm still on page 18. I'm asking for a motion with regards to the solicitor.
Peterson move that we appoint Wade Longwood and Long LLC as our solicitor for the Board of Education for the 2020-2021 school year.
Dredden second.
It's been moved in second, board members, that we approve the appointment of our solicitor for the school board year of 2020 to 2021 to be Wade Longwood and Long. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Preston, Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Is there a motion for auditor?
Peterson move that we appoint Bowman and Company LLC to serve as the school auditor for July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Is there a second?
Dredden second.
Second for our auditors, as has been read. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson, Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the architect?
Interview all 4 vendors Board of Education for the 2021 school year.
Is there a second?
Second, Dredden.
It's been moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredden, that we interview for the architect. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the engineer?
Move for the appointment of and municipal engineers, CMP, to provide general engineering services from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Dredden, second.
Thank you. It's been moved in second for our engineer. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson, Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Board members, before I ask for a motion for the school medical officers, I would draw your attention to number 7, where it says speech and language services.
Yes.
If you look down at the letter A, it should read approve the award, speech and language services. So please cross out occupational therapy, physical therapy. That was a misprint. That was for number 6. Number 7 is consistent with the speech and language services heading. We clear, board members?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'm asking for a motion for the school medical officers.
Move the appointment of cases, physicians, and associates of Pennsylvania as our school medical officers for the Board of Education for the 2021 school year.
Dredden, second.
Moved in second. For school medical officers. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon, Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
okay. Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Asking for a motion and/or physical therapy.
Peterson. Occupational therapy and physical therapy as it exists in this document.
Is there a second?
Dredden, second.
Been moved in second on the occupational therapy and physical therapy. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
You're asking for a motion on number 7, speech and language services.
Person move the approval of the award of speech and language services for the 2021 school year to General Healthcare Resources LLC.
Is there a second?
Dredden second.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson, Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, board members. I'm at the top of page 22, number 8. Motion for behaviorist consultation and services.
Peterson move for approval of an award for behavioral consultation and services for the 2020-21 year to First Learning Services. It's called REAL.
Is there a second?
Second Dredden.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Moving now to number 9, is there a motion for nursing services?
Peterson move approval for the award for nursing services for the 2020 to 2021 school year to Beata, home healthcare.
Is there a second? Thank you. It's been moved in second for nursing services to Beata Homes Healthcare. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes, board members,
Motion is carried.
I want to really thank you. At some point, we're going to look back and hopefully chuckle at this. I hope so. But I thank you so much. Absolute patience, cooperation. I'm on page 23. I'm asking for a motion to approve personnel report that begins at the top of page 23 and continues through to the bottom of page 25.
Peterson move.
Dredden second.
Been moved in second. Would there be further comments or questions? None, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Pitts.
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you. Everyone gets a star. Okay, board members, we're down on the addendum. We've all received our addendum. We've had it for a while. I feel certain that we've had an opportunity to take a look at it. So I am on the addendum. At this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report as it appears on the addendum, page 1.
Move for approval of superintendent's report on the addendum.
Dredge second.
It's been moved in second. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Redden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
okay. Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Thank you, board members.
Mrs. Pitts,
I'm sorry, did someone's, yes.
Mr. Long, can you get a hold of this meeting?
I'm sorry, Mr. Long, I didn't hear you.
I hope you can get a hold of this meeting.
Oh, yes, yes.
You seem to be losing a little bit of control.
Well, I actually, what you hear is just our board members' way of dealing with a very long and tedious agenda. And I think that we're doing beautifully.
You notice I didn't say that prior to the earlier resolutions.
Yes, I noticed that, Mr. Long. I wonder why.
Smart man, smart man.
Smart
Yes.
man.
Okay. Are we finished with the addendum? Did we do A, number 1 and number 2?
No, we need to do number 2.
All right, thank you, Ms. Martin. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the Business Administrative Board Secretary's report as it appears on our addendum.
Move Peterson to approve the board, a business administrative board secretary's report, professional development.
Dredge second.
Moved in second. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Redden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, thank you. Board members, we're back into our regular agenda. Would there be any open public record acts requests, Ms. Chico?
At this time, Madam President.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
None at this time, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. Board members, would there be any old business to discuss at this time? Hearing none, thank you. Moving now to new business, board members. Would there be any new business to discuss at this time or mention? Okay, board members, just a few points. As you know that we with regards to our marketing committee, that we did when we lost Mr. Fortune, he moved on. We did also lost the chairman of our marketing committee, so therefore be it noted that I'm appointing Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm appointing Mr. Shaw as chairman of our marketing committee. Do you accept, Mr. Shaw?
Yes, I do,
Okay.
Madam President. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Thank you. Now, board members, just one other item with regards to our census. It is so very, very important, and I want us to make sure that we remind all residents that we come in with to be sure to fill out the census form. And actually, Dr. Potita, I did receive a request from the DOT organization, and they are asking if they provided us with flyers with regards to the census, could we place them in the grab and go bags that we deliver?
I think it would be better if they just dropped them off at the sites and let the food service and our bus drivers take care of the distribution as an additional as opposed to putting them in the bags with the food.
Okay, now, Mr. Long, a question for you.
Ma'am.
Mr. Long, is this something that the board would have to take a vote and approve?
No, it's an administrative function.
Okay.
Yeah, it's normally something, flyers is something I normally approve, Mrs. Pitts. They come to my office. But at this point, because of the census, and we have always, and we continue to encourage people to participate, so it would just be a matter of those food distribution sites passing it out to the parents as they come for their food, and then those that are delivered, they will deliver one with their food at the various homes.
Right. So Dr. Poteet, so the message, the response to take back to Mr. Bobby Harris of the DOT, because he's a regional person for census, would be for his organization to bring the flyers in, or should I just have him call you, Dr. Poteet?
No, just have him to deliver them on Tuesday. No. Tomorrow is Thursday. If he can do it tomorrow, he can just drop them off at the high school and at School 3 tomorrow. If not, he can do it on Tuesday. I'll touch base with Mrs. Boyle, and then she'll make sure that the individuals at each site are expecting them and know what to do as a result of receiving them.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Thank you. Board members, last but not least, I want you to take a look at your calendars because we do have to do our retreat. I'm asking that we move our retreat up this year, certainly because of the particular situation that we were in. Instead of having it in August, I'm asking you to look at your calendars for the last Saturday in June. You do not have to respond tonight because I also have to contact Terry Lewis, but I want that's something, I'm asking that that's something that you consider.
Madam President,
I'm sorry, Ms. Peterson.
is it possible to consider doing our board retreat in the afternoon?
Totally up to our board members. You've heard Ms. Peterson's suggestion, so that once you take a look at your calendars and you reply back to me through email, just to say yes or no on whether or not we could do it in the afternoon. Are we clear on that, board members?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So moving on to informational items.
Madam President, are we still under new business?
Yes, we're still under new business.
President, I believe the superintendent's evaluation is due July 1st.
Oh, yes.
Need to appoint a committee.
Here's what we're going to do, as we have done and has worked out very well for us historically. Ms. Peterson, you are the point person. You chair that committee, and you will then be at liberty to ask other board members to join you on that committee.
I thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Any other new business, board members? Yes.
Ms. Martin, from the New Jersey School Boards Association, the code of conduct for remote meetings.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Thank you very much. Board members, I believe that in a previous email, I mentioned to you that the New Jersey School Boards Association has released a code of conduct for remote meetings. And it's a 15-point code. I would ask that you at some point take a look at that and respond with any questions or comments to me between now and our next board meeting via email. Would there be any questions?
Madam President, I do have a question regarding the retreat on the tentative date that we're looking at.
Yes.
Or do you have any details as far as how it will be conducted with the retreat?
At this time, I haven't solidified them. It will depend within the between now and the next 2 weeks as to whether or not I'm going to ask that we come in. Of course, keeping social distance, having our masks, or whether or not we would do that remotely. But personally, I don't believe that we could have a very effective retreat via remote. I just have to mention about the problems that we may have. But the good question, Ms. McClendon, once I get a final tab from the board, I will release the information as to, and also remember Terry Lewis, because she will have to come in. Board members will let me know in their email whether or not they are comfortable with coming in. I will make the decision.
Very well. Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. Any further questions, comments, or new business? Hearing none, moving on to informational items.
Yes, Madam President, I have a few information items. The first information item is student registration. I want the board members and all of our listeners in the community that the information I'm about to share with you will appear on our website, so you don't have to take notes, but I want to be specific, or as specific as I possibly can as it pertains to registration, because I know it's important to all of our members in the community. The registration forms will be located on the district and the school's website. All the parents have to do is go to Parent Resources, scroll down to Student Registration. There will be a two-step process that can be completed online and submitted to the school. The directions will be provided. We will open schools on Tuesday and Thursdays from 9 to 12 for on-site registration. On-site registration will be limited to 2 parents in the lobby area in order to maintain social distancing. Original signature is required on applications for free and reduced lunch applications. Once forms have been submitted, parents will be contacted to finalize the registration. This is important. I know parents have been looking for it. May the 29th, we will start K-12 registration throughout the district. On June the 8th, pre-K eligibility registration will take place. You know, there's eligibility for pre-K. And June 22nd, we will have our lottery for remaining seats in that pre-K program. This information will appear on our website. You've already mentioned the survey, and I just want to reiterate that the district will be working with Mrs. Peterson and Mrs. Martin that you have assigned to that committee with the CAC, and of course, Dr. Carcamo and myself, in putting that survey together. But I will reiterate the fact that a timeline will be a priority at this point because of all the things that the administration is presently doing. Just a brief update on graduation. At this point, we have 267 seniors. 40 have reported their scholarship offerings. You know, every year we read out how much monies have been offered to our scholars, our graduates. At this point, all of them have not shared with us because a lot of that information, of course, have gone directly to their homes. We're trying to gather that information at this time, but right now, of those graduates, only 40 have reported the amount of monies they're receiving in scholarships. Of the 267, 220 have ordered caps and gowns, but we do have 40 caps and gowns available at the school that we had left over from last year. Caps and gowns are to be delivered by June the 6th to the graduates. I'm hoping that everyone will be expecting the Teacher of the Year this year, which is very important under the circumstances. We will have a video presentation to be posted by June the 3rd on our website of all the Teachers of the Year in the district. And then the following week, we will post the District Teacher of the Year for 2020. That concludes the information items, Madam President.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Poteet. That concludes our agenda for this evening. Thank you again. Thank you so much again for your patience and your tolerance.
Mrs. Pitts, executive session.
Long,
Yes, ma'am.
should I ask if there's an executive session?
I will respond that there is not, but I know it was an agenda item, so I wouldn't want to miss it. I would like to say to the board members and to the administration, thank you for the confidence on my reappointment. I never take it for granted, and my entire firm appreciates it. I enjoy my relationship, as do my partners with the board. And just as importantly, working with Dr. Poteet, Dr. Carcamo, Mrs. Boyle, Mr. Davis is always an absolute pleasure that we enjoy. And I can't thank them and the board enough. It's been 10 years, which is amazing that 10 years has gone by that quick.
Yes.
But I just wanted to thank everybody sincerely.
Well, you're quite welcome, Mr. Long. As it is written, the laborer is worthy of his hire. So, therefore, board members, at this time, if there are no other comments, I am at this time asking for a motion to adjourn this meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Moved by Ms. Dredden. Is there a second?
Second by Ms. Martin.
Second by Ms. Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Keep smiling, Ms. McClendon. Keep smiling. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.